Hi, how you doing? This is Ujval. So, I've got a break here, and I decided to offer it to God. I was, speaking about some topics online, and the demigods were pleased. They provided rain. Very happy for that. Thank you. Thank you, Indra Dev, all the Devadi Devs, Lord Shiva Mahadev, Ganesh Ji. So I'm going to read out of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we'll go to my book. So we're just going to do it randomly. This is 10th Canto, Part 2. However it is. So here it is. It says, Yad imao loka palasya putrao bhutva pratao na vivasam atmanam vijanita sudurmadhau atorata stavardam Shatam naivam yata punaha smritihi syan mad prasadena tatrapi mad anugrahat vasudevasya sanidhyam labdva divya sarachate vritte sarvalokatam bhuyo labdha bhakti bhavisyataha. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya, om namo bhagavate vasudevaya, om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. These two young men, Nalakuvara and Manigriva, are by fortune the sons of the demigod Kuvera. But because of false prestige and madness after drinking liquor, they are so fallen that they are naked, but cannot understand that they are. Therefore, because they are living like trees, for trees are naked, but are not conscious, these two young men should receive the bodies of trees. This will be proper punishment. Nonetheless, after they become trees and until they are released, by my mercy, they will have remembrance of their past sinful activities. Moreover, by my special favor, after the expiry of 100 years, by the measurement of the demigods, they will be able to see the Supreme Personality God and Vasudeva face to face, and thus revive their real position as devotees. So, this is the curse that was given to the Nalakuvara and Manigriva in the celestial worlds. And having thus spoken, great saintly Deva Narada, that was Narada Rishi, right, returned to his ashram, known as Narayana Ashram, Nalakuvara and Manigriva, became twin Arjun trees. So, this is the pastime where the two demigod sons of Kuvera. Kuvera is like a god of wealth. He's like the mundane wealth god. He's like a supplier of wealth. He has like the riches of the celestial beings. Like if you were in the celestial realm, you made it there as a swarga, and you wanted to go find something really nice and interesting, you'd go there for a trinket or something, or some kind of thing blessed. One time there was in order to complete the Ramayana, the great saint, Valmiki, he had to get, in order to see it, because the saints, they have to see it. They had divine vision back then, third eye open, everything. This is also how Vedavyas spoke Mahabharata. He had to go into divine trance and see it. And then Ganesh was able to see it as well. So Ganesh actually finished it, even though he wasn't able to finish. Ganesh said, there's one condition. If I stop, because Ganesh knew he could see also, he could write for himself. He didn't really need Vedavyas to give it, but this was the service of Vedavyas. And Vedavyas also had very good, eloquent poetry to give, very good Sanskrit. So he said, this is it. I will give it, but the one condition is if it stops, my pen stops. If you stop, then that's it. It'll be over. I'll have to go. I won't be able to write for you anymore. Because this is what Brahma told him. Brahma said, you have to write this. And then he said, but who will be writing for me? Because, I have to speak it very fast. 18,000 verses. 100,000 verses, the Mahabharata. And also, so he gave it. He gave it to Ganesh, and then it stopped. So this is Kuvera. So back to Kuvera. That he would go to the celestial trinket shop. So his two sons are in the celestial realm, and they were with these like kind of celestial nymphs, girlfriends from the heavenly planets, and enjoying and drinking liquor, but they were just naked out in the open. So Narada was like, this is really bad. You guys should know better than that, to be out in the open here. This is not a private garden or anything. This is, your own place. This is, something really strange. So he cursed them and said, you guys will become these trees. But, because I know who your father is and this and that, when that is over, see, a curse is always something good. Right? A real curse. Somebody curses somebody, especially when they're a Mahabhagavat devotee, there's something good. So he says to them, when this curse is over, you'll see God face to face. So that's something really astute, right? They got that luck. So they were, cursed for 100 years of a demigod, which for demigod years is pretty long, for I understand. That's thousands of years, thousands of our years. So, so Krishna relieved them. That was the pastime. So the purport says, a tree has no consciousness. When cut, it feels no pain. But Narada Muni wanted consciousness of Nalakuvara to continue, so that even after being released from the life of the tree, they did not forget the circumstances under which they had been punished. Therefore, to bestow upon them special favor, Narada Muni arranged things in such a way that after being released, they would not be able to see Krishna Vrindavan, and thus revive their dormant bhakti. Each day of the demigods in our planetary system is 6 months of our measurement. That's exactly what I thought. It's thousands of years. Although the demigod and upper planetary system are attached to material enjoyment, there are devotees, therefore, they're all called demigods. There are also two kinds of persons, namely the devas and the asuras. The asuras forget the relationship with Krishna, asuram bhavam ashrita, whereas devas do not forget. The distinction between a pure devotee and the karma mishra devotee is this. A pure devotee does not desire anything for material enjoyment, whereas a mixed devotee becomes a devotee to become first-class enjoyer of this material world. When one is in direct touch with the personality God, in devotional service remains pure and contaminated by material desires. By karma mishra bhakti, one is elevated to the celestial kingdom. By jnana mishra bhakti, one is able to merge with Brahman effulgence. By yoga mishra bhakti, one is able to realize the omnipotency of this personality Godhead. But by pure bhakti, it does not depend on karma, jnana, and yoga, for it simply consists of loving affairs. The liberation of the bhakta, therefore, which is called not just mukti, but vimukti, surpassed the 5 other kinds of liberation, sayujya, sarupya, saloka, sarshti, and sampiya. A pure devotee always engages in pure service, anukuyena, krishna, roshanam, bhakti, uttama. Taking birth in our planetary system as a demigod is a chance to become further purified by purified devotee and go back home, back to Godhead. Narada Muni is directly gave Manigriva and Nalakuvara the greatest opportunity by the so-called curse. So there he explains that we can also, take, sometimes, you may not make it to Krishna Loka, but you'll take birth amongst the demigods if you're advanced. So you'll go up, at least they'll get you out of this cycle, right? You won't have to go to Earth. So that's the thing, you don't want to make mistakes on Earth. Earth is a place where you have to get your ties together with everybody, make sure you have no more debts or crazy things hanging, because you don't want to come back to this realm. That can make you come back here. There's stories about that. No, you don't want any criminal activities. You want to just be clean, crisp. So at least you can get to the demigods. At least the demigods can say, come, live with us. We'll give you shelter. You want to go back to that dreaded world again, And from there, you can also make advancement. And this is also why we have to honor pure devotees. This is the very big reason. We know there's not many pure devotees. Prabhupada said in his time, when his God brothers were still around, he said maybe there's 100 pure devotees on earth. Maybe about 100, realized souls. Out of, he knew from Vrindavan, Mayapur. So realized pure devotees, meaning no blemishes, no scandals, no sexualities, no, craziness, let's say, or obscure sexualities, right? So that's a rare thing, you have to be able to honor such beings and cherish them, because they're the ones that can advance you, Just like Narada Muni, he gave them some punishment, but at the same time he advanced them. So he suspended their consciousness, but when they were done, they would be able to be with God, in his realm. See him and take darshan and then they get out of their curse. They became demigods again, and now they were purified by Krishna's presence, to understand. So He knew that by seeing Krishna, they would become purified. So that's what happened. Okay. And so, it's basically, there's no really religions. Religions are they're just passing by traditions, Really, it's just service to God, as he was saying. Asuras are the ones that don't serve God, and then there's devotees, bhaktas. That's all there really is in this world, even in this world. So religions are just things we tag on, names. We're this, we're that. We're part of this group, part of that group, for some reason, But really, it's just servant of God and non-servant of God. Everything comes and it goes. You understand? So you can't really hold on to it. You have to say, does my service to God and my service to humanity, is it worth more or than my body and my designations? And you also always got to say, it is worth more. Because if you say my body and my designations, they're worth more than anybody and everything, then we run into the problems that we're in these days. People are just racist and they say, I don't have to give you rights. My religion is better than yours. This and that. You're the fault. You're this and that. And then nobody advances. And they don't even get to understand themselves. They make offenses. So let's go to my book now, Bhakti, of Geo-Negative Axis. See, the Geo-Negative Axis helps people understand. So Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, so woman's body, more descriptive. The most amazing feature of a woman is they can harness light vessels or semen, which is the most powerful when they are small, and that is how GNA is also determined to be as smaller. The more it has the ability within, therefore, it is more. The more it is really is. Semen is less in matter, and they can assimilate to create life with double negative base platform body they presume to grow in. Pregnancy is an intention that manifests a harness of light, which the semen is there and more autonomous with growth and can grow rapidly and do the most, as it survives with the least and flourishes therein. The highest definition of all emanation is to do the most with the least. This becomes a standard for things done or made right, as we witness the growing of the semen into being, how its growth is more amazing than any creation otherwise. It grows so much faster than we humans on the outside, exponentially growing up to 1,000,000 times larger from that small standpoint. From the microscopic, this pronounces GNA activity verily and shadows all common sense otherwise, with that negativity is not the standard, that least in existence here is not the most. Actually, when King David fought Goliath on the foothills of Mount Zion, the GNA symmetry of the hexagon was present as his emblem of retrieval, his deity as a symmetry of the face of God, in which we are all created after and can see it normally. But really, he did a more conclusive scientific job for the understanding of matter, as the least of the smallest was able to display having been subjugated to the divine will of life. Therefore, on a negative platform, he was able to defeat the huge, merciless giant and thus prove GNA equality on Earth. So basically what that's saying is that the least with the most. So why is the story of David and Goliath a great story and accepted as a great achievement in religious societies? Because he did something with the least. He defeated the big demon, the big Goliath, right? So that was the smallest, the greatest. It became great because it was the least. If he fought somebody that was small and insignificant, it would have been a terrible story. It would have said, this guy David is merciless. We don't even want to hear any more stories from him. Forget about him, right? No, but he fought the big demon, he rescued everyone, and showed his prowess that the small insignificant could do the most, which was fight the big demon, Goliath. So, that goes with this earth. You see the gene equality, right? The soul is the smallest, but it's doing the most here. The atom, when it's cut with energy, creates the biggest explosion. So the least is the most, gene equality. This is why I proved physics. I concluded physics with this understanding, because it wasn't there. People didn't understand physics till that. They called it relativity, which basically means that things are in comparison to each other. Something we kind of knew already, just made it wordy and more, categorical, which was good context. It actually helped me realize gene equality, because it helped me make the steps. So Einstein helped. And also Tesla, he helped with the understanding of ether, the sixth proponent. The fifth quintessential is the geo-negative axis. The sixth is ether. So he found out ether. Einstein figured out light. He had an idea of GNA. He mentioned something about another wave particle of light. But the actual conclusive idea of what light is, and its proponent to be a negative assimilation, he didn't come out with that. That it was the least, right? It has the least context. You can't feel it in matter, but it has the most. It creates air. Air creates water. Water creates matter. And here you are. Understand? So that's the world you're in, with 6 elements. So we can't be scared of the world. We have to see that it is made in a diversified scientific arrangement of life. And if we follow it and we keep up with it and we, let's say, ask the universe for its understanding, it'll give it to us. But it's up to us to make these treads. You understand? The universe is there to talk with us, is there to help us, but we have to be open to our minds. You know, the world now has you looking at other people. Oh, look on the internet. Look on this person. Oh, that's what is that person doing? Oh, how's she looking? Oh, how's he looking? No, you have to also give time to yourself to ask the questions about your life, about your existence, why you're here. And this is why the GNA helps you, my book. If you don't know, it's on Lulu. It could be on Barnes & Noble still, but I know you can get a copy of it on Lulu. Yeah, and reach out to me if you want distribution, if you want many books. Because, as I said, it concludes physics. Just right there, I showed you. The semen is the smallest thing. It is also the most amazing thing in this world. How life comes from a microscopic organism and grows millions of times in size. The least becomes the most. Most amazing thing. Life. What are we here for, right? There's nothing more amazing than that, right? I can't really say more amazing than that. Sometimes a rock flies in from space. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's an asteroid. But nothing's more amazing than life, right? It's the most amazing thing. So the least is the most. The least does the most. It's the most amazing thing. You understand? So that's also what truth and God helps us do. It helps us keep our amazement up and together. Okay? So I'll leave you with that, and good luck in your quest of knowledge and love of God.